Okay, we're about to just go ahead and fat talk. I'll be right with them. I'm late. It's cleaning up in the studio here. Oh my God, it's going to be so much better. Just a little bit. Can't wait. Can't wait. Hmm. Hey, Nikki the God. I haven't heard back from those people yet, but I'm trying. What is going on with this? Okay, guys. Nikki the God. Yeah, I had to get the boogers out. Hey, it was just one. It was green too. No. Mm-mm. Okay. You can't. So, so, mm-mm. Hmm. There we go. There we go. Now I got Chef C, everybody. Hello, it's been a second.
This is a fucking circus. Okay? I knew that wasn't a filibuster because there was no bill on the table. Correct. Gaslighting at its finest. Brother Dr. Short, how are you, sir? White evening to you.
Well, white evening, but even better, a white Jesus evening. Now that's a white evening.
Okay.
White Jesus to everybody.
Well, we are touching on this As Baraka right now.
Oh.
As Baraka is being discussed.
Oh, really?
And
that's
yes,
really
sir.
nice. He's been an ass all the time I've known of him.
Agreed.
And,
so
I've known of him a long ass time too, longer than you have. Maybe. Wait a minute. Are you in your fourth decade of life?
I am. Well, I will be.
You will be. I've known of his ass longer than you've been alive. To show you how small the world is. And
yes,
they were shady at Howard. You're shady now. No surprises here. I'm completely unmoved by all of it. Please don't ask me to be empathetic. I'm not going to be.
Oh, that's my sentiment, sir. I couldn't agree with you more. I love what's happening for As Barack. I love it for him. I actually put a lot of respect on him finally paying some type of price.
Well,
whether it be at the bare minimum, humility. Well, listen, the apple does fall far from the tree because what I'm gathering from Amiri used to come. He said, "Hey, you having some mic issues, brother Cole? Brother Cole, you got to clear that mic up, fam."
Hey, Chef C, I want Brother Coke to come back. I want to hear what he was saying because I would agree. There's some need for some humility for one of the first families of Black cultural nationalism, because they've gotten some shit right, but they've gotten a lot of shit wrong. And I'm not knocking What anybody gets, that's right. But I am going to criticize um, what you get wrong, and what we've gotten wrong from the Baraka crew is wow. I don't know where to start, but where I will start is by saying this to you. Um, somebody somebody has screwed up, right? Someone has. I don't know who it is, but somebody has screwed up in that collection, in that collective. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anyone does. They've messed up. And I'll give you an example. Years ago, I got a call. Everybody was so upset because a legacy person had been killed. Amiri Baraka had a daughter that was killed, and everybody was all upset, and everybody wanted to punish and get the person that did all this stuff. Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear.
Everybody was being done wrong, and all this stuff was going on. And I'm not mad. I don't run around looking to be angry, but I was trying to figure out what happened to Amiri Baraka's daughter. How did this happen? Why would someone just kill a woman, and whoever it is, that person should be punished, right? And there was all of this talk and all these people that did stuff, and we're listening, and I'm trying to understand, right? Because I do want to understand. And
administration,
and
the Bush
then
administration has done nothing.
All of a sudden, there's no discussion about the murder of Amiri Baraka's daughter. Initially, I mean, everybody was fired up and they're going to get this person, and we're tired and you don't get to kill a person. I was thinking, okay, yeah, that's right. Don't hurt. You don't get to hurt somebody in any family. And that's initially what, I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden it stopped. Now, what was reported to me, because I don't know, but what was reported to me was that certain people said, I don't know nothing. But what was said was that Amiri Baraka's daughter, okay, I don't know nothing, right? But Amiri Baraka's daughter was killed by a woman. And then everything got silent. Are you hearing me? And then just no discussion, nothing. All the passion, and because they were coming out, and we black men need to do better. We black men need to stop hurting our women. And the brother that did this, we go get him. And then it was, are you hearing me? And it's thinking, yep. Well, all right. To me, if a woman killed a woman, y'all need to deal with this. How in the hell do you not deal with this? Right? I'm not a monster. I'm not calling for, but this person does this. They harm a person and a significant family among black people. And because it's a woman, you're not going to deal with it. You mean it's okay if a woman kills her? But why did the other woman kill her? No explanation of that either. Initially, it was all about black men and violence against women and brothers. And they allowed that to go on when it was a woman on a woman thing. But why? Do you get me? Why? And
I hear you loud and clear.
somebody knows why. And what's typically violence of women fighting and killing each other, especially if they're familiar with each other. Have any ideas, gentlemen, from the panel? Why would a woman just viciously kill another woman?
Somebody was getting screwed, literally.
Politically? Literally. Okay. Do you realize this has happened within the last 10, 12 years, 15 years max? And there's been no discussion of it. None. And I'm thinking, all right, I'll give one more piece. I wasn't there, I don't know. But I do know this, that family has a history of intimate partner violence, among other things. And for me, not that that there's no such thing as intimate partner violence, but the issue for me is this: shouldn't we be able, as people, honestly, to deal with this issue in some way? Shouldn't we? Is it that difficult? Are you feeling me? And so that's my comment there. I'm thinking, as a family that's one of the pivotal cultural nationalist families and all of this, it's amazing how these people who are in the front lines to solving everything in Africa and the Caribbean, but when it comes to in someone's household, these very critical issues of family, because these folks are pro-abortion, even though they say they're not. They're pro a whole bunch of liberal stuff. And yet you're nationalists. How you get to be nationalist if you're not for babies? How are you nationalists if you're for LGBTQ, even on the QT? How are you for illegals and you're for black people? How are you for Obama, late Amiri Baraka? Why did they attack everybody that was trying to tell the truth about Obama? Same family, same people. It's strange. Why were you with the Jewish hole, running with white folks until maybe something happened, and then all of a sudden you came over and then you black radical fist in the air?
Hey, Dr. Short, that thought right there, sir, right there. That thought right there. Because see, Dr. Short, you know, when you out there stomping 10 toes down against the pink toes and white, when the media labels you as anti-Semitic, when the media labels you as homophobic, because he says the white man has a perpetuity of turning into a gay faggonist. When 9/11 happens, because his name Leroy, his mama call him Leroy, I'ma call him Leroy. When Leroy is out there on 9/11 talking that talk and putting out think pieces called "Who Blew Up America," and then they put him on the terrorism list. I thought it's okay to have a little bit of domestic violence in your life.
Well, it's more than a little bit. Let me give you another story. This was given to me because there was a situation I'm not going to say who, but there's a person. What I will say is that this is an allegation. I'll go that far. So nobody can say I said anything about anybody. I was in someone's house here in Washington, saw a picture of this gorgeous black woman dancer, and said to myself, wow, who's who's that? It's a beautiful picture. Who is the woman in the picture? And they said, that's my mother. I says, wow, what's her name? She's gorgeous. She's a dancer. This is so cute. Wow. And it says, well, I don't ask a lot of questions, but it says, wow. So she was able to like dance and travel the world and be your mom at the same time. That's awesome. And she says, not really. And I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to mess with it. And it says, but it had to be sort of okay. You travel, your mom, she's a star. And it says, well, wow, what are some of the places you went? It says, you went to Africa. It says, wow, you in Africa, but back in the day, wow. And it says, what that had to have been exciting, newly independent Africa. So I said, not really. I'm thinking, all right. I'm not, I went to Africa as a teenager. It was fascinating. I was trying to think, what would make Africa not interesting to a very young person from America, black? And it says, well, I'm not trying to probe, but I'm kind of like lost. You got this gorgeous, talented mom. She's beautiful. You're traveling the world. And it's just okay. I mean, it seems like you're blessed, right? It says, well, she says, it depends on how you look at it. And I'm thinking, well, I'm looking at it optimistically. Is that okay? She says, look. I says, well, what was your mom's name? And she says, my mom's name is so-and-so Baraka. And it says, wow. 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 I says, well, Baraka, are you related to Amiri Baraka? I says, you know, the poet. I mean, and they started getting mad. I was thinking, I'm sorry. Look, I don't know many people that name Baraka. You're from America, you're black, East Coast. There's a possibility, since I'm in the genealogy people and names. And she says, yes, he's my father. I don't like to talk about it. My mother and he got divorced. I says, okay. That's why it didn't matter about going to Africa. I was thinking, but he should have been like big there. I mean, the cultural stuff, Africa, the arts, poetry. That could have been a cool experience, even though your parents split. And she said, look, when we were in Nigeria, my father and mother had a disagreement, and my father beat her in the market in front of everyone. And I says, okay, no further questions. This was 2012. I know where that person works. I've never asked anything ever again because I don't dig in people's family stuff. I don't care to know. But wow. And see, there's been another wife since that one. And then there was the white Jewish wife before. So I don't know if the one that got killed was sisters to the one that's allegedly here. And are you into this because you hate men because your father used to kick the shit out of your mom? And you're this great leader, spokesperson about the divinity of black people and the sanctity of the black queen, all this shit. And you take your woman to Africa and you beat her to the ground and allegedly, possibly kicked too. It's been a while since I heard the story, but she was on the pavement crying out. Hopefully not,
Well, I'll tell you what. Hold on one second, brother, Dr. Short. What I need to do is it's been an hour and a half. We have no contributions or sponsorships, sir. Tonight won't be one of those nights for me to just go keep chopping it up and not have it. We got some bills we need to pay here. So, ladies and gentlemen, small intermission. We'll be right back. Definitely hit that Cash App, ladies and gentlemen, to become the sponsor. $25 for the sponsorship. Anyone that matches that becomes the co-sponsor of today's broadcast. Anyone surpasses will be the sole sponsor of today's broadcast. Salute to everybody that's in here with us.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it.
Hello, everyone. We're gonna have some interesting time here. We're just doing a fat talk. We're talking about that morbidly obese statue that was put up to represent black women. I called it the DEI statue of matriarchy. It's complete BS. Black women should be offended. They don't have statues to fat white women. Any ignorant black man or woman that thinks it's laudatory for there to be a statue of a morbidly obese black woman, that's insane. They don't have fat Chinese women. They don't have fat any woman. Black women have been disrespected. And if obesity and being unhealthy is so cool in our community, and you can be disrespected like that, once that's established, that anything that appears to be laudatory of black women can be done, and black women are good for it. You guys are in for the ride of your life with the stuff that's on its way to come. It's just outrageous. That statue is a disgrace. I also want to mention that for you the guys that came in, they did a report today, and it said that black women were disproportionately amongst the numbers of people losing jobs in all fields. The war is on, ladies. All this time, mouthing off for the Democrats has put sisters in the crosshairs. It's not cool. Head librarian at the Library of Congress, allegedly for being pro-transing kids. Trump fired her ass. That's probably the first time this has happened in history. There are a lot, she's AKA boule type broad, over and over and over again, picking stupid things, stupid hills to pitch battles on. That seems to be the hallmark of a lot of dumbass professional black women. Just stupid ass black women, and you're fucking it up for all black women. Yes, you are. And that's what black feminists will do.
Still haven't received our first sponsor of today's program. We're going to play one more track, and if we have no one today, I will be shutting it down.
Okay, he may shut down.
So shout out to that. This is fine for me. So, one more track here, ladies and gentlemen. Support the program. We appreciate y'all in advance.
By the way, Sister Star, moderators, everybody that's on here, hi.
All right,
Brother Mark Anthony.
Yeah. Solitainment. Harlem World. I'm the legend from the Hudson.
Oh my God. Hold on one second.
Cash out.
I'm looking at this message from Reparations Nation. My grandmother was murdered by her female best friend. They were teachers. She came to school and expressed her love for my grandma, got spurned, pulled out a gun, and shot her dead. I was 3 years old. People need to deal with this fact. Stud on stud or stud on non-stud or stud on femme violence. Murder and everything else is real. And it's interesting is I know there are a whole bunch of sorry as shit black men. I just learned about the Cincinnati Strangler today. I knew about the Cleveland Strangler, a black man that was just killing women all over Cleveland. But there was a black man choking them out in Cincinnati. The media is very quick to talk about black men that are violent to black women. They're very reluctant to talk about black women killing black women. They like lesbianism. They like obesity. They like abortion. They like divorce. They like black women being stupid ass pork chop feminists, and they encourage it. And that's cost us a lot. We need to grow up. And I don't know the name of the person that killed Baraka's daughter. I just know it's allegedly a woman. And everybody was hot. They're going to find the brother. There were some people that had criminal records that were going to kill that person. And then everybody's got to get held accountable. Every damn body. A man that kills, a stud that kills, a team that's reckless that kills has to be held accountable.
What brother Short say? Let me get Brother Short off that mute. What'd you say, Brother Dr. Short?
No, I'm just talking to my audience when you were doing all that Jimmy Swaggart shit, or actually more like Kenneth Copeland fundraising. And I was just saying to people, everybody has to be held accountable. And one of the people from one of my rooms was talking about his grandmother being murdered by a stud that was a teacher that she came onto, and she turned the pussy down. After all, who wants to rub steel wool on steel wool, right? And she shot her. And I'm just trying to say that studs, black women, by the way, are more abusive towards children than black men are. Although it's highlighted when black men are violent towards children. And black, lesbian, and bisexual women are bigger pedophiles than black men are. And when they're AC/DC, when they swing both ways like Jane in the Jungle, they're more violent towards women than men are, as bad as male on female violence is. And so, Pat Talk, I don't give a damn. I hate feminism. And one of the things I hate about feminism is the dishonesty that it's put. When you tell a woman she's a god, it's like telling a white person that they're superior. And therefore, they're not accountable. You can't ever attribute anything to them negative. They get to point the finger at everyone, but no one can point at them. That's a big problem with disloyal, off-code, out-of-control sisters. And you got that picture of that King Latifah. Actually, she looks like Letitia James. She looks like the size Letitia James would like to be. Letitia James has a body like 2 pieces of elbow macaroni put together on the backside. She's got the weirdest body shape, like a ski slalom, both of them put together and shit. And nobody wants her, aside from the Incredible Hulk face with the shaved down eyebrows. She, this statue, they put the statue up on Pat Talk. This statue is an insult. And the reason that black women aren't angry is because you're pork chop feminists. So all these cardiovascular diseases, type 2, actually type 20 diabetes in the community, they're promoting all this stuff where women think giving the kids ramen noodles and Tahitian punch is a meal, and corn cheese puffs that you pay too much money to at the Asian stores. This is outrageous. And it is time for this to stop. And I'm going to keep talking like this until I see an army of black women that start calling this shit stupid. Because feminism has said anything that men say about women's shit is sexist. And in fact, you know where that comes from? It comes from, let's talk about it, GCPs. Like everything is anti-Semitism. So if people go and carpet bomb a picnic for Palestinian kids, if you think that's wrong to blow up non-combatants, you're an anti-Semite. If I think it's wrong for a morbidly obese broad that has enough tattoos to be Rikers Island on steroids, that she's not appealing, plus she's got enough bastards to be the old woman in the shoe, right? She's the like outlet store for the old woman in the shoe. It's outrageous to think that you're eligible for a high quality man, or even a dude that works for UPS. If you can't take care of your own bastards or can't keep your legs closed, why should some dude owe you the rest of his life to help bail you out for the stupid ass mistakes that you made? Everybody knows about unwanted, unexpected pregnancies. As much as I hate abortion, and a lot of y'all have had enough of them. In fact, if you bought as many lottery tickets each time you went in the liquor store as you've had abortions, y'all'd probably be rich by now. Okay, and I hate abortion. It's evil, and it's not birth control. It's slow genocide. There's no reason for all these abused and unwanted kids in our community. And if you didn't want a baby to come out, don't stick nothing up there. Since sex toys are so great, then keep using it. I mean, don't talk shit. I got a toy at home. I don't need you. Then they pick the sorriest dude that's out just recently paroled and have bastards with him, and then talk about how the man needs to make 6 figures. You know, he needs 6 figures for each roll of fat on each side of your torso. That's how you do it. If you got 3, no, that's why you need 6. Look, we're not going to take this. This is ending. The war has been declared. Project 2025 is here. And as much as I don't like aspects of it, if it destroys pork chop feminism, thank God. In fact, I got my white Jesus here. I'm going to just hug my white Jesus. Bring it, white Lord Jesus. White Jesus, I just love it, man. White Jesus is going to shut you feminists down. You're going to learn how to cook, clean, right? And I'm going to just tell you, it's really easy to have a man for all you guys that grew up with fat, loudmouth, rude, crude mothers that told you to get on school debt and be independent. It's real easy to keep a man. I'm going to tell you how. An empty scrotum and a full belly. Just 2 things you got to do. Feed him and fuck him. He'll take care of the rest. The reason we have a family problem is you don't know how to cook or feed, and you don't want to fuck either, unless it's a woman or it's a man that's not going to be committed to you. It's almost like it's corny if a guy wants to be married and committed and give his life to you. You don't want him. You want a dude that's going to, like, be like the dude. What's that guy in the movie? Which one of the brothers from Sinners was screwing the light-skinned woman? Was it Smoke or Stack?
I can't remember, Brother Short, but I'm going to tell you right there. Hold on. I'm going to tell everybody, go over to Brother Dr. Short's platform. Sir, Angry Black Man's Book Club, I'm shutting it down.
Oh, that's
there are
good.
No sponsors today. So go over to Brother Dr. Short. He's still cooking, y'all.
For a few minutes. We're going to do this for about an hour. But Chef C, I just want to say this. Thank you for all your good work. But I want to remind people something. Again, they're laying the sisters off. And when Section 8 goes, and they're about to pull the plug in this shit, they're going to really do this. I'm saying to all of you broads that never needed a man, if you ever needed a dick before, You sure will need one now. And by the way, there's going to be such a glut of women that just need somebody to help their asses make it. Man, it's going to be. Can you imagine folk that went to Princeton and shit, trying to talk to folks that just came out of prison just to have a dude around? This is weird. Not that I want this outcome. Now, Chef, I know you got to go, so I'm gonna wish you. I wish him a white woman. I want to say hi to everybody. Remind everybody that we are going to do our Sabbath thing, but when we have to talk for real, and that's what we do on Pack Talk, is real shot talk. Oh, look at that. I don't care. Somebody put up on here, this Reparations Nation. Uh, okay, I don't know what's going on with that. I can't tell you about why women stay with violent men. I can't tell you why women stay with violent women. But what I do know is a lot of women mess over guys that are legit. He's too soft. So I don't know what that's about. I refuse to be a person that's going to be violent towards people of the opposite sex. I find it disgusting. I can't associate with such men. I don't like it. I don't like to hear stories of rape. I've had to counsel people around rape. Don't like it. I don't like any man that would do that kind of stuff to a woman. It's despicable. But I'm going to tell y'all something, and I mean this. We're about to see this feminist thing be sunk in our community. And this brother's talking about this, that woman represents a working class black woman. There are a whole lot of professional black women that are in shape. They would never put up a sloppy Roseanne Barr looking white woman to represent working white women. Rosie the Riveter looked good for a white woman, even if they had to invent one. I just can't buy that. I'm sick of the Lizzoization of black womanhood. I don't like Lizzo. I still don't like her. She can diet as much as she wants. I still don't like her because Lizzo is cheap. Lizzo is unfeminine. Lizzo is ungodly. Lizzo is nasty. Lizzo is rude and crude. Lizzo is a tool of white supremacy. And I don't care who doesn't like it. In fact, what do y'all think about Lizzo losing weight? I don't care. Actually, maybe she was a nicer person when she's fat. You know, people get mean when they can't eat what they want anymore. So if she was nasty before, she's probably going to be worse. It's just sad. I also want to say to everybody, if you can, help out the Hinton family. Mrs. Hinton needs your help. She's already lost a son. I'm certain that her family's catching hell. Her husband's in trouble. We got lied to about the car, lied to about the circumstances of the shooting, lied to about the character of the father, lied to about a lot of things, lied to that there's going to be some kind of justice when you have a court with hundreds of police officers in, with the defendant can't even come in for his arraignment. That's incredible. I need to say to everyone, and I can challenge moderators if you can, go to Google and you can look up Cincinnati Riot 2001. About 24 years ago, because the police were just murdering people, Cleveland, Ohio, the police are notorious for just killing people. This has been going on, as far as I know, just following it for 30 years, and I'm aware of this as a situation. I don't live in Cincinnati. I've only been there once. Anytime I lived in D.C., and know that they just killed people in Cleveland. And if you look online, you look up Cleveland and police brutality, you might even see the story that said that the police in Cincinnati were 3 times more likely to shoot Black people than any comparable city in the Midwest. 3 times as often. There's a reason that this man snapped. And if he was a responsible father, married, told his kid how to act around police and all of that, and your child still ends up dead, you're going to be angry that you told your kid, yes, sir, go to school, go to church, stay out of trouble. And he didn't have the house key and was locked out in a car that wasn't stolen, but they were behind in payments. He wasn't even the driver. So even had it been a stolen car, he may have been an accessory, but not the operator. The police kill people. The police across this country are heavily infiltrated with murderous white supremacist terrorists. Plain and simple. Homeland Security let that out 16 years ago. And the no good coon president that many of you like, that sodomite named Barack Obama, or Ofaga as I call him, refused to hold police accountable. He had the opportunity and he would not do it. And neither did Biden, with no crime bill for Blacks, nothing. You won't hear anything from Hakeem Jeffries. People, I don't like, and I want to remind everybody, I don't want folk out shooting anybody, running over anybody, hurting anybody. But I promise you, if you mistreat people long enough, in any given situation, there are going to be people that snap. If someone murders your child that you brought up right, that was honest, that was good, that didn't want to be in any trouble, and then they tried to slander and lie on that child in front of your family and everyone to do this, and they go, how do you process that? Why should they be expected? Moderators also, if you can find the Go Sin, please post that for people to help the Hinton family. I sent a little bit. I don't have a lot of money, but I did send 25. I sent 25 to Carmelo. I got a call from the sister that Kamala Harris threw in jail. I got to look and see if I can help her behind out. Good lady, messed over. We need all hands on deck to do something on behalf of grassroots Black people who are being treated horribly. And this is going to intensify. Once they take Section 8, they're trying to make laws to criminalize homelessness and will be killing people because they have nowhere to stay, but yet they took in 10, 12, 15, 20 million illegals. Don't let them lynch Mr. Hinton. Don't let them lynch Carmelo. That Black man down in Rappahannock, Virginia, where the guys, cracker dudes kicking in the door and he got shot as he should have been shot. I'm a Southerner. You don't bang on people's doors. You don't knock on white people's doors. You don't know. We're brought up taught that stay away from doors. You don't know, stay away from it. Those people deliberately tried him and they found out. You don't know when your door is being kicked that someone's playing a game. Who does that in this day and age? I want folks to wake up, and I want folks to do what they can. Feeling a little better. It's just weird, recuperating from all kinds of stuff. Being in a hospital can make you sick. So I just want everyone to know that you will see me tomorrow, and you'll certainly see me tomorrow night, and you're likely to see me Sunday. And I'm going to say this to everybody. You can make this a good Mother's Day to remember Mrs. Hinton, a good Black mother, good Black wife who's facing a Mother's Day from hell. If you want to remember another mother, because I know a bunch of these moms, Denise Johnson, Sheree Peoples. In fact, I may even do that. I've got to figure out if I can find Sheree Peoples' Cash App. She's the mother with the kids with sickle cell that Kamala persecuted. If we really care about Mother's Day, we should care about the children that they have. If we really care about fatherhood, we should care about fathers that love their kids. And I want to let you guys know I got my 2 flags up. I finally got this one, and I still got to get a banner for the different things that I do. I have to get on that. I always say I'm going to do it, and then I don't. I'm in the process of redoing the library here so I can have greater access to my materials. So when I read, I don't have to run around and try to figure out where something is. So I'm thinking between now and Sunday, I should have everything fully operational. So I want everybody to know that. I will absolutely get back to that. I want to let everyone know that I'm going to complete my last sermon on racism tomorrow at 2:00. So on this channel. And I have no issues whatsoever because we are going to be talking again. And the title is Sinful White Greed is Why Blacks Bleed. Sinful white greed is why blacks bleed. Sinful white greed is why blacks bleed. I will not just do scriptures, but I'll be giving biographical portraits as well as certain readings for people to understand the deep and wide racial situations that have emerged where we're in the place that we are, where someone could kill Ryan Hinton and lie about it and feel justified. And you need to know that there's some group of vicious, racist, Luciferian, satanic people who are going to be having a church conference questioning whether Black people can be saved by God or if we even have souls. This is something from like 500 plus years ago. And that's what I'm saying to you. This is a religion. And that is why on Assault, I've been talking about race so much, because a lot of people think, oh, it's sociological. People just need more information, or this, if they have more contact, they'll change. No, when you have a belief system, when you have a cultic religion, when racism is a cult, hate, murder cult religion that serves a blood-shedding demon, and it is worship to murder, to oppress, to mistreat people who look like you and I, who come out of the nuts of Satan, then you have to understand that better. And so I will be providing sources. I will even give you a couple of things, and I will link it again from the 1400s, actually even before. I'll go back to the Crusades and bring it up to now. And then the following Sabbath, we're going to get back into Diddy and the people behind him and why it should matter. So I'm going to give this a few minutes, and then we can like absolutely step off from here. We and I just want everybody in particular to pray for Cincinnati. They've had two riots I know of since the 90s, and it could blow again. There are a lot of things going on in the country, and I want to remind people um, this is the 60th year coming up for the Watts riot in August. This country hasn't dealt with some things since the time I was born. And in fact, it's gone backwards on some things, and there's no forward momentum. People feel desperate. There are a lot of people out here who are reckless, and this isn't a good thing. And there are a lot of people who would never understand and appeal to their souls or their hearts or minds or goodwill. So I would say to you, you need to have your home and your living space protected. You need to know something about your surroundings. You need to be in touch with the Most High and deal with people who are down to make certain that folks don't find out or explore whether you can be harmed or not. It's really time for this garbage to stop. I absolutely want people to remember to catch salt tomorrow, but also I started, and as soon as I'm done organizing this library, I've never tried to do that because I've got a few thousand books. Just move everything around and put them in their proper place for the first time in 15 years. Because this is my dad's library, and I got to get these ghosts out of here and replace them with my living being. Well, what I mean by that is that this was his space, and so his stuff is all out everywhere, and it's sort of difficult to try to do your thing if you're in someone else's. So I'm making it suit me so I can be of more utility in what I'm trying to do with you. Um, Cincinnati needs your prayers. The Hinton family needs your prayers. The Anthony family needs your prayers. The guy down in Rappahannock, Virginia needs your prayers. And also donate. Doesn't take a lot. Um, a trip to the movies, a trip to a fast food place. I'm not rich, trust me. I'm on a fixed income, very fixed. And when these things come up, it's just not right for me to chat about these things and not do something, even if it's small. If you just gave $10, $15, $20, 25, give it. Okay. As you know, SALT is like a ministry. It is a parachurch because the four wall people ain't getting it. I'm not knocking all of them, but most of them. That's how you get a TD Jakes' ass. Who would never, unless they shot his kids, then you'd hear something. And so the system knows, don't kill influential Black people's children. Kill the broke ones. Kill people that don't know how to fight, who have no history of resistance, because they're in shock that it happened to them. I like everybody. I get along with everybody. I respect everybody. My kids did. Duh. You're Black. I go to Starbucks. I read the Wall Street Journal. Right? You're Black. This is old. This is ongoing. And a lot of people have no idea how racist the state of Ohio is. People need to understand there's a town in Ohio named Springfield where they lynched 11 Black people, at least 11. Okay. Yeah, a lot of towns down south that didn't have 11 lynchings. That's just one place in Ohio. I need to remind people that I believe it's Cleveland. I believe it's Cleveland in the 1820s or 30s. It's close to 200 years ago. When they wanted the black people out of town, they got a cannon and bombed the black people. They literally used cannons to drive black people out of Cincinnati, if I'm correct. I'm pretty certain it's Cincinnati. Let me look, because I don't want, unlike other people, I'm not trying to miseducate you. I'm not trying to make you hate anybody. I just want you to know what happened. You need to know about this, and people will understand how someone could become very desperate. Let me see. Cannon. Hold on. Cannon used on blacks in Ohio. Watch. I'm going to have the city. Don't blame me for it happening. I'm not trying to instigate nothing. Yes. Look it up in AI. In 1841, Cincinnati, Ohio witnessed a significant act of racial violence where a cannon was used against a black neighborhood. A white mob, having gathered at the Fifth Street Market, marched on Little Africa, an African American neighborhood, and fired a cannon into the area 3 times. This event was part of a larger wave of racial unrest and violence against black communities in Cincinnati during the antebellum period. The motivation was there were too many blacks in Cincinnati and they didn't want them there. The police took more than 300 black residents into protective custody during the riot. The violence, which included the use of cannon, left a lasting mark on the city's history and the experiences of the black community. Long before Black Wall Street, long before MOVE, they used cannons and things to bomb and blow up and get black people out of areas. Okay, I had to share that with people black from Ohio. They'd never heard of it. And I'm not saying it to be petty, and I didn't tell you to hate everybody, and it isn't everyone that did it. It's a long time ago, but damn it, that same kind of hatred, you start looking at Cincinnati, they've been killing people in incredible numbers that I'm aware of since crack. It's been 40 plus years of police just hurting people. And the same thing happens in Cleveland. Tamir Rice, 12, or the case where the folks fired 135 times into a car and killed an unarmed black man and woman, and no one got any charges in Cleveland, Ohio. This is an ongoing thing. This won't change until we decide to change ourselves. Change ourselves by saying we won't accept this anymore. And I don't condone anybody taking the law into their own hands, but I have a hard time condemning people who are overwhelmed by trauma and grief that they may lose it and do something. There was a film that came out a long time ago called A Time to Kill. Samuel Jackson was the actor. I don't want anybody to hurt anybody. Again, I'm going to get my dad's cop hat out because I need people to understand this. This is my dad's cop hat. It fits my head too. My dad was a police chaplain for 25 years for the Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C. My father was there when the black man, the Capitol Hill policeman, was shot dead by the white supremacist terrorist that was trying to kill Speaker of the House, Tom DeLay. My father was there for many, many policemen that were murdered Many, many policemen that went through all kinds of stuff. Sometimes white police officers. There was one, I believe, named Jason White. And my dad had to sit with the family of a white law enforcement officer who wasn't mean, who got shot in the head with a exploding bullet in the forehead by a black man. And to have to sit with the family, the head is blown open by some career criminal black person. At the same time, I know what it's like for the police to execute someone on my block and let them bleed to death just off of North Capitol, which means imagine seeing a river of blood come out of a black body that's going downhill towards the capital of the United States. This happened 1979, 1980. And I know of other brutal things that have happened. Both my brother and I, my mother only had 2 sons. Both of us had near-death experiences with police. I had a policeman draw a gun on me. I didn't do anything. I wasn't, and I recognized, man, I could get killed. I'm glad I was calm. He anticipated me so he'd have a reason to murder me. I thank God for protecting me. I would be a dead person now had that man had his way. I got picked out. I'm a student. I'm not doing anything. They do target us for death because they can get away with it. And until we break the back of white hate and white bigotry by whatever means it takes, because Kumbaya doesn't move everybody. I wish it did. I would like for it to do it. I would have liked for Nat Turner to have been able to have a prayer meeting and people would be converted to loving their neighbor as self and let the captives go. That isn't how it goes. Power concedes nothing without a demand, says Frederick Douglass. And Frederick Douglass worked very hard to get hundreds of thousands of black people to serve the Union Army, which meant shooting and killing white people who were opposed to them being free. And what's most disgusting about black people, when you see Civil War reenactments, white folk are living like the Civil War never ended. Most black people know nothing at all about the United States colored troops. Most people don't even recognize within the last two and a half weeks, they found a mass murder site where white folks mass murdered black soldiers in Kentucky. And there are places all over the country where black men and women were mass murdered for you. And we don't even talk about it. It's not, or it comes up, but there are no historical markers. In fact, in some places, white people have festivals to celebrate mass killing black people. And people don't even complain about it. There's never been an effort for, that's one of the things that we could demand reparations around. Anybody that's related, if they were to go through the bones that was connected, should get paid for every person that got murdered in a United States colored troop uniform. That's money we should demand because they were murdered by enemies of the United States. If Confederate soldiers could get pensions, having killed hundreds of thousands of fellow Americans, reparations for descendants of Civil War veterans that were massacred should be a no-brainer. I'm just saying, so they just found this mass grave. Look it up. It's in Kentucky. Let me find it. Because people are lazy as hell. Now you got a computer in your hand. All you got to do is ask a question. I'm going to ask massacre, since people don't know how to frame questions other than to ask for sex, drugs, and food. Massacre of USCT in Kentucky. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up so that you know. Yeah. It's called the Simpsonville Massacre. Nearly all the soldiers were former slaves. When the troopers neared Simpsonville, they were attacked by Confederate guerrillas during the fight, which the Louisville Journal called a horrible butchery. This is a white supremacist newspaper. They called it a butchery. Just look up the Louisville Journal. if you've ever seen it, it's an incredibly vicious paper. If they say it was massacre, damn. Let me read a little bit more about this. Historical marker: Shelby County commemorates the massacre of members of the 5th United States Colored Cavalry near Simpsonville. On January 25th, 1865, Company E of the 5th United States Colored Cavalry was transporting a herd of 900 cattle to Louisville. These troops, based at Camp Nelson and Jessamine County, had previously fought in the Battle of Saltville, Virginia. Nearly all of the soldiers were former slaves. When the troopers neared Simpsonville, they were attacked by Confederate guerrillas during the fight, which the Louisville Journal called a horrible butchery. 22 of the United States Colored Cavalry were killed and 8 were severely wounded. At least 4 of the injured later died of their wounds. Local resident Julia Tevis called the ambush one of the bloodiest tragedies. She added, "I never did expect to see such a state of things in my own dearly beloved country." The dead Union soldiers were buried in a mass grave in an area eventually became an African-American cemetery. Today, efforts are underway to mark the graves and commemorate the soldiers killed in the ambush. By the way, they found another massacre in Kentucky within the last couple of days. And there's a place, I think it's called Milliken's Bend, I think in Missouri. If not Missouri, it's in one of the southern states, Arkansas, wherever it is. It's nearby Mississippi, and they massacred some of the black folks there too. And this happened throughout the Civil War. Here goes another one, just for you guys to know. Saltville Battle and Massacre. This historic marker commemorates the 5th and 6th United States Colored Cavalry at the Battle of Saltville in Virginia, October 2nd, 3rd, 1863, honoring the 46 soldiers who were massacred afterwards. It was par for the course for these people, who later became Klansmen, to just mass kill black people, in particular black men. And these people became policemen and law enforcement and everything else. This thing hasn't ended in 160 years. And we're lazy as shit. We're some of the most fucked up people I've ever seen, that we don't even remember people that died for us. They don't count. If a sacrifice for your life and your freedom isn't worth being remembered, why would anyone risk or take a chance on standing up for such a forgetful, lackadaisical people? It's absolutely disgusting. And there's this Devil Punch Bowl. We could go on and on. Fort Pillow, Uvalde, Florida. I mean, just massacre, massacre, massacre. And whites do all the reenactments. The massacre of black folks at the Battle of the Crater outside of Richmond, Virginia. No real discussion. Massacre of black men at the Battle of Yorktown. In this instance, they were massacred by the Americans fighting against the British. They may have killed 400 black men. No discussion. No one's looked for the grave. It just doesn't happen. We're the only people that don't put a premium value on our own lives or anyone that died for us. And those folks that were fighting, serving the British at Yorktown, were fighting because they were promised their freedom, something that the American side didn't promise. They died for your and my black ass. That's a shame. And so I talked to someone, when you do reenactments, you can't even find folks who even march around in uniform and carry a musket around to remember that. These white folk have never let up. They lost cause. They got monuments everywhere, still commemorating the Civil War. And we don't even take the time to find out if anyone in our family even fought. That's sad. I want all the moderators. If anyone says anything stupid, time them out 24 hours. Because if I see anyone say anything stupid, I don't need them. They don't support this platform. They're not my friends. They're not your friends. Block them permanently. We don't want you. In fact, I don't go to white supremacists or any. I just don't bother people. I mean, if people hate, let them hate. We're not doing hate, but we are doing truth. If you don't like the truth, get the hell away from our platform. We don't want you. I don't like you. I don't need you. And by the way, you're a dying demographic anyway. I don't like you anyway. We're not going to be friends. I don't want to live next to you. I don't want your sister. I don't want anything. In fact, maybe I don't want you to go to heaven with me either. Okay. Now, we did an hour of this, and I planned to get on to Pat Talk earlier, but I still have about 5, 6, 7, maybe about 6 hours of work so I can get this library up to speed. So when I do the reading, I have all the books where I want them to be by subject, this, that, and the other as well. I start Bible study this week, which I'll do on Zoom with a few friends, starting hopefully Wednesday or one of those days. I want my Bible stuff, and I got all kinds of stuff on Black history and the Bible and this, that, so you can at least get a legitimate take, because there are a lot of no good Black folk out here that are just agents of Satan, who will tell you Christianity is a white religion instead of it being a religion for human beings that want to be close to God. And if anybody knows anything, Adam means basically the color of earth. Earth, it tends to be black, brown, or red. There is no such thing as white soil. So why would the white supremacists think that Abel was white if the father is at least red brown, as I am, and the mother came from the father, then she'd be red brown. I mean, from her husband, she'd be red brown. Then wouldn't the kids be red brown too? But anyway, I spent a significant part reading white supremacist doctrines. It just made me tired. In fact, I thank God there's a hell. Burn up all of those people. And so don't come to SALT looking for me to try to convince you to believe in God. You've made up your mind to hate your neighbor. You've made up your mind to be a Luciferian. You've made up your mind to be satanic, like your grandparents and your great-grandparents and all your ancestors. Then have that big family reunion in hell. Let not the Aryan circle be unbroken. Nobody's begging you to discover that you're but a part of humanity. And you guys are the new kids on the block, or should I say the new shit on the block. And nobody like you guys have gone global with so much hate and pathetic violence. God, eugenics and racism, nobody's been as bad. For all your boast about your modernity, your modernity doesn't have civilization or humanity in it. Just telling you. I can stop here. Because I'm going to take a break. But I do want to let you know the reading will definitely pick back up after I do SALT. I do look forward to that. Oh my God, you have no idea. It's been cold and rainy. It's been like tripping my body out, but we're here. I want to thank everybody. I want to remind everybody, support the channel, share it, because the shadow banning has been monstrous. Ever since I did the show with Jaguar that happened to Dewan B. Y'all don't know. The minute that we do something that would bust out, they double down and make it harder for people to see our videos. I'm not shooting for tens of thousands of people, but if I got like 1,500 or 1,200, if that was what I normally would get, when it starts dropping to 100 and That's not even normal. Um, it's been months. I'm eking up to 3,000. I'm still not there. If you haven't subscribed, do it. I'm so close to 3,000. I see people with 30,000. I would say some people don't even have as much to offer on their channel. But I do want to tell you, we're going to continue to talk about race and racism. I got, I don't know where I put it. I got a book on Black women and armed resistance. Uh, I've got to share that. I'm trying to figure out Black women and mass incarceration, even in Jim Crow South times, back right after the Civil War. I've got a range of things I want to try to kick out and just encourage people. Reading is the foundational for your liberation, both spiritual, physical, economic, and otherwise. In fact, I ran across this thing my mom had. Let me see if I can get this. I know what shelf it's on. Let me check and see if I can see it. I'll pull it out for you. If I don't see it, hold on. I think it's right here. This is nice being able to sort this stuff out. I think this is it. Nope, that's not it. Wait a minute. There was something by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing I had never ever seen before that either my mom or my dad bought back in the 70s or early 80s. I got it. I told you it'll pay off putting this library together where my stuff. I hope y'all didn't leave. Look at this. This is so cool. This is why I took a break. I had to pull my library together. Where is this? This is from 1980. It's called, look at this, Black Book Bulletins. And who's on this? Published by the Institute of Positive Education, Volume 6, Number 4, single issue. It was $2. That was a hell of an outlay back then. Let's see, what was $2? I think $2 would be about $12 now. Well, let me check. At least 6 or 7, but I think it's more than that. All right. Let's see who can get the answer first. Okay. This is about $8. So that was massive. But I bet you my dad bought this back in 1980. My dad knew Dr. Welsing and met Dr. Welsing back in the 70s. Let me share this. This is something I had never seen this before. And if I did, the editor was Haki Matabuti, who just died. No, he didn't die. It's Jawanda Kunjufu that died. Jabari Mahiri. But the thing that caught my eye, business manager, Jawanza Kunjufu, who just died. Contents. Reflections on the Jonestown Massacre. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to be talking about Jonestown tomorrow. Relationships in the state of a declining sex ratio. The State of the Black Economic Household by Jawanda Kunjufu. Africanity and the Black Woman, Iva Carruthers, who I met in South Africa. Wow. 24 years ago. Incarcerated mothers, Marion Reed. The emergence of rape in the Black community, Nayala J. Smith. Rape, a radical analysis. And where is, wait, I got to see something. Wait, there were articles, and this is well done. I want to see if I got this thing, because everyone's talking about our sister. Here it is. I'm going to share this with you. Look at this. Black Books Bulletin. Look at how good looking Frances Cress Welsing was. Fine. She looked good when I saw her. She's a mature woman. This is BBB interviews Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. Let me treat y'all to this. BBB, so here's the question. Frances, would you please give me some background information on yourself? I was born in Chicago on the South Side. I'm divorced. I have no children. I'm going to skip through this. And oh my God. Oh my God. I did not know that Frances Cress Welsing worked in the same mental hospital as the matriarch of my grandmother's family and where my mother worked, where I used to go, the same crazy ass hospital. It's called St. Elizabeth's. It says, why did you select psychiatry as a profession? She wrote, well, I thought that the brain and psychology were very interesting. I thought it was fascinating. I wanted to understand it. But I had earlier been interested in pediatrics. I ended up after medical school going to Chicago, where I did an internship at the Cook County Hospital, and then was going to continue my residency at a certain hospital in Washington, D.C., but it didn't accept Black residents at the time. I think it was Georgetown. I bet you it was Georgetown. A good friend of mine from Chicago who had always planned to be a psychiatrist, she and I went to medical school together and then did our internship together, suggested that we do a residency in psychiatry. It was no problem at the time getting a residency in psychiatry because there were very few psychiatrists. So we went to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, where my mother worked, where I, as a kid, saw Black men dying from tertiary syphilis. Do you wonder why I talk about STDs so much? Black folk, this nasty, vile ditty culture, freak off thing of just putting your dick or spreading your legs for everyone. The enemy loves when Black folks are whores and tramps. The people who opposed me for calling out blimp-ass Lizzo were all nasty, crusty, pasty white liberal bigots. They're the ones that I went off on them. Anyway, she's at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. I remember a guy, he must have had like a 17-inch dick, and he would go down the hallway slamming it on the walls. I don't know. Crazy people are crazy, okay? They really are. And the nurses would get him and he slapped him on the leg. This is wild. If y'all think I'm crazy, it's not my fault. I would have never taken my kids places my parents took me to see this kind of stuff. It was wild. And we got attacked by mental patients, my brother and I. It was a couple of times. You know, we're going to pray for mom and supervision. You have kids, watch them. Crazy people, someone will mess with your kids if you do not look out. So we went to St. Elizabeth's Hospital for residency in psychiatry. I started working, and she worked with, I assure you, my dear friend, Mother Alice Galati, one of the first Black psychiatrists to have position and power at St. Elizabeth's Hospital. A wonderful Gullah Geechee woman who's very wonderful to me, passed a couple of years ago. I started working with psychiatric patients and was keenly interested in the problems of Black patients. I wanted to find out what was causing their disturbances, and I soon realized that the major problem was racism. Where did you do your undergraduate work before medical school? I did my undergraduate work at Antioch College in Yellow Spring, Ohio, the same city. And I'm certain when she was at Yellow Spring, Ohio, she took courses from Dr. Yvonne Sion, aka Yvonne Chappelle, mother of Dave Chappelle, the first Black person to earn advanced degrees in African American and African Studies with the PhD. I did an internship. If she didn't take classes there, wait a minute, she's just before. No, she missed them, but they were there. They came in just after, unless she finished in '66. If she can't, no, she wasn't there. She's leaving as those folks are moving out there. What's your professional history? Did an internship at Cook County Hospital, Chicago, 62 to 63, before doing a residency at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in general psychiatry for 3 years, 1963 to 1966. My mother was working there then. Then a fellowship at child psychiatry at Children's Hospital, which isn't far from me, 1966 to 68. From there, I went to Howard University College of Medicine as an assistant professor in the Department of Pediatrics as a child psychiatrist from 1968 to 1975, and I was fired. My father began dealing with Howard in 68, 69, and they knew her. I maintain I was fired because of my writing and lecturing on racism. Fake ass, phony ass, boule people at Howard University. The more racism changes, the more coons stay the same. Then the dean at Howard's Medical College told me I wasn't qualified to teach the College of Medicine after I taught there for 7 years. The College of Medicine at Howard is full of coons. It's still full of coons. In 2015, they had 5 Indians with the same last name of Patel, but not one single Black American male was in the entering class, and nobody saw a problem with that. That's how sick professional boule Black people are. To me, we need somebody to run over their asses with some cars. Psych. Not really. Dean Marion Mann, who is no longer dean of the College of Medicine, to be frank. Dr. Wilson, that paper you wrote, The Crust Theory of Color, Confrontation, and Racism, he said it didn't make sense for me to say that to white people were envious of Black people because they lack a significant quantity of melanin in their skin. I maintain that the most viable theory on racism, white supremacy existing on the planet, hasn't been refuted in 10 years. I'm still looking for someone to come forth and refute it. It is rather odd, too, that you were fired just because of raising an idea. Undoubtedly, it came from a higher order than the dean. What's your standing among other Black psychiatrists, both white and Black? I would say that I can count on one hand the number of Black colleagues in psychiatry. I can count on 3 fingers the number of Black colleagues in psychiatry who have ever given thought of sitting down with me and saying, let's have a discussion on your theories of racism. No white psychiatrists have encouraged me to discuss these ideas either. Really? That's unusual within the context of profession. Her response, within the context of profession, it isn't, you see, because with Black people, it would be the same thing in social science. It would be the same thing in economics. She's right. It would be the same thing in education. If a Black person were to start raising questions that white people have not raised before, and not just raise the questions, but provide answers to provide answers that might be disturbing to whites. You see, you can lose your job if the powers that be are dissatisfied with the products of your brain. It is not a question of does this help us understand the problems that we are being asked to solve as physicians. Well, that's probably just limited to the professional academic class because, well, I can go from one end of the country to the other, and people might say, Dr. Wilson, your ideas have really helped me. Outside the field of psychiatry, people are interested in my ideas. I am certain. I know that for a fact that within the field of psychiatry, there are white psychiatrists who are well aware of what I've written. I've submitted the CREST theory to the American Journal of Psychiatry and received the answer, it's too long. I wrote another paper on penis envy, submitted it to the American Journal of Psychiatry, and received the answer, there are many criticisms of Freudian theory, but this isn't one. But such responses are to be expected. That non-white person is supposed to have insight to write about how the white mind functions and why white people behave the way that they do. Your essay, The Motherfucker and the Original Motherfucker in the White Supremacy System and Culture, and also Ball Games with Symbols, and previous issues of the BBB, you interpret the use of the symbols as being primary importance of programming people. Would you elaborate? I'm going to stop. But I want to tell you, even though they had the interview with her and they've got her name on the front, interviews with Frances Cress Welsing, they show her, but they should have given a bigger thing to her, but she's here. Frances Cress Welsing, and there are other people. I've got a book called Fugitive Pedagogy. It talks about how Black people who actually can think, who actually have answers to problems, are outcasts because the Black Academy, like Coward or How Hard or Ho Hard, and all the other HBCUs, discourage Black people that think critically of white supremacy. You don't last there. You get into trouble. Trust me, I've been through it. Folks are afraid you're going to do something. The biggest problem that Black people have is that we both worship white people and we're cowards and we don't have any integrity. I'm saying as the elites don't. The path to success is betraying your own people and never standing up for what you know is right. That's seen as real intelligence and good sense. It's not true, but that's how it goes. The book on fugitive pedagogy, it talks about different Black scholars and how they can't get jobs in university with PhDs. You know, I probably can't get one. I'm glad I don't have, due to being disabled. But if I were to go out, I would get turned down. Someone would look and find out something you said or did. It doesn't matter how many books, how much you did. You are dangerous. Ideas are actually dangerous. You can't kill ideas, which is why Black people have been intellectually stunted, why they have bad music, bad food, bad schools, bad preachers, bad practically everything. Bad fraternities, bad sororities, bad secret societies. White secret societies help white people advance. Black secret societies hold Black people down. You know, Black fraternities and sororities are like a company that makes toilet paper that they expect for you to use as a napkin and to use napkins to wipe your ass. Everything is backwards. There's nothing legitimate about these people. We have to get tired of them. We have to wake up. But wasn't this cool? This is in the family library. You realize this. You realize this. You need to have your archives. This is no longer in print. I'm going to have to find a way to copy this so I can share this with people. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. Everybody's household should be a place of ideas. Everybody's home and wherever you live should be a place of decolonizing your mind and your spirit. and connecting to the Most High and finding like-minded people. Every every home should be a Colombo or a Everglades or a dismal swamp where people who want love, happiness, unity, community, and advancement to come together. Um, you must do this. Uh, I am so proud. My dad bought this. Wow. Third World Press. It's a publishing house in Chicago, still in operation. Have real good books. The Destruction of Black Civilization. Everybody, I agree, Anthony. Everybody should have a library. Everybody should know as much as you can because what you don't know can hurt you. I don't know how many times I talked to people in various places. I was talking to a real stupid feminist, a real dumb pork chop feminist that was celebrating women marching around with their boobs exposed as if that's going to stop police brutality. Um, that's absolutely somebody's real. And you wouldn't believe it, but you know what? The people are so adverse to you learning, to you thinking, until you constantly get stupid comments in the threads. These are white supremacist satanic people who are terrified of a handful of us thinking. Nobody's talking about doing anything other than thinking. Because if your mind's liberated, your body will be liberated. If your soul is liberated and saved, there's very little that can be done. People hate ideas. They absolutely do. But I want everybody to consider. By the way, you heard that Trump fired the black woman who was the chief librarian or the head librarian or the senior librarian at the Library of Congress. With this DEI purge, uh, a lot of black books, and that's why I always say to people, please send me something. In fact, I hope people donate. Send a few. There's this book on slavery and Islam that I want, and it's like about 40 some odd something. I like to have it because, unlike other people, when I get something, I share with other people. Um, my dad, this is in his library. My dad had an archive. He got shelves everywhere. I would say we got maybe, I don't know. And this is my actual stuff is in storage. I think I have about 10 or 12,000 books in storage. At some point, I have to figure out how I get them all up in here. It will happen. But to have libraries, to have archives, you need them. All over the country, there are archives. And by the way, they keep the stories and the secrets and the information to uphold ideas, ideologies, and the strength of particular people. If we don't do this, if we choose not to, if you don't choose to have archives and repositories of information, you're not going to have much to last. Oh, look at this person. I love this. There are a lot of sodomites that are worried about hairlines. So let that sodomite look at another man. I mean, okay. Isn't there enough porn for these nasty crackers to look at? I guess, they couldn't afford their credit cards maxed out looking at interracial porn. Well, we don't have time for them. Moderators always time them out for 24 hours, not 5 minutes. Get rid of them. We don't need them. They're in the way. Yeah, never ever give scammers, racists. I don't want to talk to them. This isn't about one-on-one with other groups of people. This is really for me to have a conversation with people who care about us. And by the way, don't worry. Here's the thing I keep reminding people. You're going to see more and more insanity from racist white people because they're dying. their empire is falling. They know it. And they're acting stupider and stupider because it's academic. It's a numbers game that can't be undone. If 7 out of 10 white folks in this country are above the age of 50, they're a dying population, not just here, Europe, everywhere. I don't know. Maybe it's the will of God that, hey, y'all done too much to hurt the rest of humanity. So you guys need to take some time out from procreation, forever. And I don't wish that on anyone, but I'll tell anyone that's in the book of Genesis, when the Philistines were trying to mess with, or there was a possibility of messing with Abraham's wife, Sarah, God basically drained the nut sacks of the Philistines where they couldn't bust nuts. And everybody realized it's something to do with that Hebrew coochie. Please don't tap into it. It's messing us all up. Yeah, man, I haven't busted nuts since she got in town. This is a real story in the Old Testament. It is God phasing folks out. The big problem with Black people is that we've disconnected from God, as the people who've oppressed us from 400 years are losing all their power. They're not connected to God and haven't been for hundreds of years. The problem is we did. And just as we begin to make progress, we basically wiped our ass with the 10 Commandments, the Golden Rule, and all of that, and flushed. And we went down the tubes with it. Look at Jack. Hey, white supremacists. I love that. You go to hell, and I don't care. I like my hairline. So, hey, everyone. These people think this stuff matters to me. I really don't. In fact, racists make me want to do this even more. And if you guys hate white supremacy and hate racists and know that they're all going to spend eternity in hell, you should circulate these videos. Okay, these ideas, it obviously bothered someone. And if it bothers them, well, if it keeps him from looking at porn and drinking Red Bull and massaging his undersized penis, if that's all we can do to give hell to the system, let us do this as often as we can. Do this in remembrance of me. Anyway, it's time for me to stop. Thank you, Sister Star. Thank you, Sister Brooke. Thank you, Brother Mark. Thank you, all moderators. We're going to stop in a second, but I urge you to have your own library, to have your own archives, to have these. You never know. I never imagined. I've never seen this before. I've been in this house basically since 1980. Since this thing got purchased, I've never seen it before in my life, before today. It's important. Pass down books and materials, family photographs, genealogical research, and so forth, because maybe most people won't get it, but there may be the weirdo like me who likes to read, who likes books, who likes ideas. We must nurture the minds of those that will be leaders, thought leaders, political leaders, revolutionary leaders. It's very important that this happen. I'm going to stop here. I'm going to remind everybody I'm going to be up for SALT. And by the way, the Nazis are angry because I put these videos up on Twitter. They're furious. And I'm so glad. Burn in hell, racists. God can't save you if you have a heart full of hate. God's not going to save you. And so I have great satisfaction when I see all the little Nazis and other people and realize not only are you a dying population in this life, but you're going to spend life in hell, eternal life, burning for the stupid racist stuff that you did here. So I'm not afraid. I want to remind everybody, MFM. Check out SALT tomorrow at 2. You know how to bless me. If you want to help me continue with my archives, because, I'd be getting books and working this stuff out. I'm $ Dr. Randy Short. I'm Dr. Randy Short on Patreon. I'm Dr. Randy Short on Venmo. I am wrandyshort at gmail.com for Zelle. I'm at wrandyshort at gmail for PayPal. I believe now that it's warmer, I will have for all the really old people that don't do the electronic stuff and y'all been holding up. I am going to bust down and get me this post office box between now and the first week of June. In fact, I may do it before, but that way you can send like, I don't know, something. It does matter, but it's not the only reason I do it. When other people wouldn't speak out about the jab, oh, you guys have no idea how much that hurt. But I'm going to tell the truth. It's not about fame or money. I've met famous people. I'm not necessarily enamored of them. I've met very rich people. This isn't about money, even though money's important. It's about you. It's about your spirit. It's about your soul. It's about us as a collective. And the fact that we can survive all the things arrayed against us if we put our hand in God's hand and we are with the righteous people among us, and we'll work with righteous people in other groups, but they don't need to be in the mix of what we do. We don't need to make those mistakes anymore. How can I say Guten Morgen to the person in Germany, or Guten Tag, or all of that stuff. And I have to say to you, for the German person, even though I'm a Black person, I'm a descendant of the Brandenburg family. I come from the house of Oldenburg and from the house of Brandenburg, and I'm a descendant of Charlemagne and Charles Martel. How about that? And there are other people from Germany too, from Bayern to Schleswig-Holstein. We Black Americans is something else. I like who we are. We have to love ourselves and be grateful and thankful, and we'll be even better if we get reparations, but that requires us repairing ourselves and each other, repairing your soul, repairing this jacked up Black male-female dynamic, repairing the generational divides, and we got enough generation gaps to be the Grand Canyon people. The boomers and all that mess that they're on, and the hard-headed young kids, the Z ones that think they know everything. They don't even know how many states there are, and they're talking about, you old people never did anything. Anyway, I want to just encourage everyone to read, to think, to share, encourage it. The CCP comes out of a study group. The student sit-in protests of the 1940s, 50s, 60s, even the Black Panthers come out of a study group. Everything starts with people reading and thinking. This is why they have people no longer reading or thinking, because if you don't read, you don't think as much, or you don't have as much to use in your computer to process what you know. And if you don't have ideas, then you're doing what someone else wants you to do instead of what you need to do for yourself. So, MFM, everyone, MFM, may God bless you, and may white Jesus smile on you in as much as you won't serve a Black one. That's right. Everything has to be white. The white man's ice is colder, so the white Christ is more holy. So I'm going to just give it to y'all. Hey, who said, where's my favorite, man? Since folk don't want to come together and love one another, don't want to follow the second commandment, I'm going to try to get Black people back to where they were, where there was some kind of community when God looked like this. The minute he got Black, y'all just completely, y'all just fell off the wagon. So, yeah, this is this is my new black militancy. since I'm gonna bring white Jesus back. Even when Dr. King is preaching, you see the picture of him at Ebenezer, and there's a white Jesus. White Jesus had Dr. King's back until he got to Memphis. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. And they both hang on trees. Oh, look at that. He's, you know what? And this silly white dude, oh God, they're so silly. God, they're silly. They're afraid. All your bombs and stuff, it can't give you a sperm count. You need to spend more time trying to do some IVF instead of trying to kill and hate everybody. Just, God, they're stupid. So now he's permanently off the channel. He can never come back again. And isn't it nice? It's just us. And I don't give a flying fuck about what people think about what we're saying. That bothers them. Do you realize years ago, white person could just bust up a meeting? You blacks start talking to him. Oh, man, he's coming. Man, don't want us to talk to each other. We have to take mental, spiritual, and intellectual space and make it our own. And the good news is even YouTube and all of these tech things are laying off. These platforms are going to crash one day, and we're going to have our own. I can't wait. The same way black folks used to be in white churches and get abused until they had black churches, they're going to be black search engines and all of that platforms. We won't need them. As I told the white supremacist, says, yeah, we don't need you. I says, actually, we don't need you. If Burkina Faso, a broke-ass country in Africa, wasn't important, why is everyone talking about Ibrahim Traore? If black folks aren't important, why does everything have to be framed in terms of black people when they make government policy? They have to use DEI in order to do euthanasia to kill off old white people who are getting the majority of these costly government benefits. And to use hatred that white people have for blacks to kill them. It's not even us that wish to hurt them. It's their own greedy, selfish, vile, satanic, bloodthirsty, rich whites who do this. Think about that. I'm going to let you guys go. God bless you and good night. If you do meet someone that's a good human being, no matter what they are, be kind to them. Respect everyone, but demand and command respect. Don't let anybody mess over you. Don't mess over anyone. And again, help the Hilton family. Help the Hilton family. Oh, look at this. I love it. And this guy is a Slav. This Slav, his name means he's a slave. And he's worried about me. Call me a monkey. You're lucky. You know when Polish people got their freedom? In the 1920s. They were serfs. The Russians screwed over him. I mean, these people, and the Germans killed you guys by the millions. And he's talking Nazi talk to me. You know what? Maybe you guys deserve what happened in 1939 because there's so many nasty, crusty people from that country. So, all these little Slavic names, yeah, I better be careful. Little nasty, racist, vile Slavic white person from Eastern Europe, they're being decimated as the Northern and Western Europeans have the Slavs slaughtering each other, right? Okay. They hate you and me as they pour billions of dollars, depopulate, in fact, Slavic European people to this day, particularly Ukrainians, are used as basically sold as whores all over Europe. So the next time you meet one that's racist in the Azov Brigade or Azov, whatever, which means freedom, understand that their women are whores in London and Scotland. In Glasgow. I've been there. Mallorca. They're the whores and the shit workers for much of Europe. If the people aren't brown or red or black, they're Slavs. I don't think people that are Slavic are less valuable than anyone. But the same people that call you or me nigger do, and yet they're coming at us. They got butchered. The English let Hitler destroy Poland. 4 or 5 million Poles died behind white supremacy, and this stupid ass Polak is talking this monkey shit to me. And yet Poland is between Germany and Russia, and a fight could break out. The Poles will be destroyed. Believe you, and their population isn't growing either. These people are dancing on a razor blade. So when they do all this hate, it's because they've lost. We're not even fighting them. You know, hate destroys from within. There's so much hate, and these white folks, until they can't make babies, can't even get it up. You need Viagra to be able, and then you want to screw a man when you do that, or a woman. Sick, satanic population that's played itself out. You might need some of we monkeys to go and tune up so you'll have a population. I heard they're giving folk money to come in and bang up the women in Japan. After all these years of kurambo and, little jokes, Coco Gene and this, that, and the other, don't let people mess with you. If you read, you study, you research, certain sorts of things don't bother you. Remember, they're dying. If today, in 2025, the majority of them are above the age of 50, in 5 years, the majority of them are going to be above the age of 55. If a lot of them took those vaccine shots, they're dropping dead in droves. That's why they let all the illegals in, people, because their population took such a hit. The white population in this country is dying. I'm not celebrating. I don't wish ill to anyone, but they wish ill to us. And it's not going to help them. You're going to see a lot of people who've messed over others. Their populations are going to shrink. And it is shrinking. And on top of that, the more desperate they make the illegals, take their jobs away, they're going to push more fentanyl. Who needs to feel good and happy all the time, and who's entitled to everything and no problems? Over the beautiful morning, over the beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my white way. Who do you think disproportionately dying from opioids in this country? Although the number of stupid black folks who are determined to do whatever white folks do that's suicidal, oh well, we'll lose them. I don't, at this point, what do I care? I mean, if you don't want to live, you haven't figured out since the 60s, this is a game to wipe you out. You're already dead to us. Let me be very, 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 very straight with you. The very people that are really nasty in California, that dealt with them, and I don't hate them. A lot of Koreans, I don't know what this thing about being nasty black people for, but then again, I sort of do, because a lot of Koreans are Christian and they were influenced by the white supremacists, like Branham and others took white supremacy with their Christianity, aside from any problem the Asians have. So they've got it. But Japan, Korea, Germany, England, Poland, all these places where folks have issues with black people are dying. Again, if 70% are above the age of 50 today, then 70% or more are going to be above the age of 55 in 5 years. They keep making all of these gain of function viruses to kill off people. The majority of those folks are old, white-haired white people that are sucking up all of the social spending money. They're literally trying to kill off older white people. They're pushing for euthanasia. But the problem is if you kill them, where's the population going to come from? What's it going to look like if you kill all the old white people? And I don't want them to kill all white people. I mean, I had great-grandparents that are white. I don't want to kill anybody. But I know they want to kill us. But you know what? The same way they had to show that Malcolm X was in, the hate that hate produced, this is a genocide that genocide produced. So we may not see some of these people 10, 15 years from now. Those of you that are younger, they may not be here. The question is, will your spirit be so contaminated and vile, and your soul Aryanized and Americanized and Europeanized and Luciferianized until you're basically a melanated Klansman? Think about that. It's 2 hours. I gotta go. But they're diminishing, and I'm not celebrating. I don't want. The Bible says, "Be fruitful and multiply," not be fruitful, not to be unfruitful. And sodomites are unfruitful, and warmongers and haters and racists and genocidal people that steal everybody's natural resources and don't pay them. Okay, I urge you, pray for peace. Be prepared for some kind of ethnic conflict that people want. They're going to force it on us whether we want it or not. And we don't want it. We're outnumbered. Folk got guns everywhere. Their pets have guns. But pray for peace. Pray for the protection, because there are just a lot of sick people by the millions. And you know what? I repeat, drive all these people out of the workforce. These people who have networks of the cartel, and like that movie American Me, they're going to find a way to put so much fentanyl to get revenge on certain populations, and for the weak, sorry, no good black criminal class that work for the Latin gangs to poison their own community. You guys, they're going to eventually cut you out because they can't share money because they're so broke. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of black gangsters getting whacked, unless they stand up. But then again, we've never seen that. I'm not counting on it. Let me get up out of here. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Stay out of trouble. Remember to support the channel. This is Dr. Randy Short. You know how to bless via Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, right? Venmo, and as well Patreon. Absolutely. Help the cause, and not just my cause. Remember the Hinton family. Remember them. I'm hoping to get a call from them soon. I hope I get a call from the Hinton family. I believe that me and some other people, we can be of use to help in some small way. I pray for that brother, Mr. Hinton, Rodney Hinton Jr. Pray for protection for the Anthony family, for all the victims of injustice and racism and whatever everywhere. Okay. MFM, everyone. God bless and good night. Bye-bye.